Hey folks, what's here? Welcome back to another PoMa video, and today we're going to talk about summons, right? And I've actually wanted to do this for quite some time now, just because I always see folks out there, when a new banner drops, feels like, oh, post, I spent 6K gems and I got shafted, I got nothing. I spent 12K gems and I got nothing, I got completely shafted, and it's kind of sad in a way, because a lot of people, especially free-to-play players, right, when they spend their gems, they don't and I don't mean to be rude here or whatever. It's not a bad thing. I don't think it's bad. It's just it's not the most economic way to spend gems sometimes, people, in terms of how they spend. And today I'm going to go over some of the best ways, I guess, to spend your gems so you actually can guarantee, or almost guarantee, you get the unit that you want, right? So first, let's talk about some of these, I guess, sort of bad habits that some free-to-play players have. Obviously, if you're a whale, if you spend money on this game, then you summon however you want. If you got the money, then go for it. But I'm just speaking strictly for free-to-play players, or players who don't spend that much, right, on the game. There are some ways that you kind of have to play in terms, so you can maximize the amount of things that you get back, right? So you don't get shafted, right? Because if you just willy-nilly just randomly summon on stuff, you will get shafted. The chance of that happening are very, very high. Obviously sometimes you don't, because if you get lucky, then you don't. But isn't it much better to minimize the risk, right, when you're going for, because this is kind of like slot machines in a sense, right? So when you're going in there, you want to make it so that your risk is as low as possible, so that you don't lose out on too much, right? And thankfully, in PoMa Masters, they actually do have a system that can make sure that you don't get shafted. There is a way where you don't get shafted, right? So first, just looking at some examples of what people do that I don't think are the best, and I again, I'm not singling anyone out here to criticize or whatever. I'm just talking about this sort of strategy that people use. A lot of people, they have their gems, right? The game gives out decent amount of gems, around more than 20K a month, right? And a lot of people, what they do with the gems is every time a new banner drops, however many gems they have, boom, all gone, right? You go for the banner, and sometimes you get lucky, you get the unit that you want, and more often than not, you will get shafted, because if you're looking at the rates, the featured unit, the rate is 2%. 2%, the chances of getting a 2% pull in let's say, I don't know, 6K gems, which is what, 22 pulls, is very, 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 very low. The chance of getting that is very, very low. So I see a lot of people, just every new banner that comes out, people just pull on every banner. With, again, if you're a whale, if you spend money on this game, then sure, you could definitely do that, right? But if you're not, if you're free to play, if you're just using the gems that the game gives you, in my opinion, that is definitely not the way to go. Do not just every single new banner, just or every other banner, you just dump all your gems that you have in there, right? Use every last one of your gems on every single or whatever, right? So here's the deal, right? In terms of how to best do this, because there is a guaranteed way to get the unit, and the guaranteed way is to go to scout points. Go to scout points, and you get the unit. And before everyone gets mad, oh, obviously, right? And and for those who are who do like to pull on every banner, I love you guys, but I'm sorry. If you have a very, very limited amount of gems, you have to play it strategically. in order to get the units that you want, right? You can't, like, especially if you don't have that many gems, you really can't gamble with this, right? The process might be boring. I know it's very boring. You have to wait until you get more gems before you summon, right? You can't just get gems and then spend them right away. Obviously, that feels good. It's very fun, but that is, again, in my opinion, not very an economical thing to do. So, what my suggestion is, right, is that you only summon if and only if you have enough gems to go to scout points on a banner. If you don't have enough gems to go for a scout point on a banner, I don't think it's like the risk of pulling on a banner is just way too high, right? If you only have 12k gems, if you have like 9k gems, 15k gems, like the risk is way too high, right? Because if you throw those gems into there, into the banner, and then you don't get the scout point and don't get the unit, then those gems are just like gone, right? Like maybe you'll get like 1 off banner, 2 off banner, 5 stars in the process. But again, most people, they're trying to go for the featured unit, right? Which is always usually the main draw. So here's the deal. So scout points. To get the scout points, you need around 36.36 k gems, right? So you round it up to 36.4 k gems. So that's how many gems you get to the scout points, and that's how many gems you get scout points if you do only multis, because multis give you an extra pull. So, and the extra pull adds into the scout points as well, right? It's 3 scout points per pull, right? So you gotta do the multis. Don't do singles. There's no single rates, multi rates, none of that, right? That's not a thing. People are telling you that, they're lying, right? The rates are the rates. The rates are the same between singles and multis. Do the multis because they give you 1 extra unit for the same amount of gems, right? Unless like you're at like the last pull where like you need 1 more, single to get it, then okay, go for that single. But outside of that, all your pulls, first of all, need to be multi. You have to save up enough gems to get to the scout points. And if you're wondering, well, sometimes I don't get, I don't need to get to the scout points to get the unit. Sometimes I get it on my first multi. If you get it on your first multi, then good. However, what if you don't? If you don't, then all those gems that you spent, that's just sunken cost, right? So the plan is save up gems, save up 36.4k gems, and that usually comes in around a month and a half generally, right? Because we usually get like 20k to like 25k around that range amount of gems every month. So you save up a month and a half, 2 months, and then every month and a half, 2 months, you'll have enough for scout points. However, that's not how the actual math works, because sometimes you will get a unit before scout points, right? So say you saved up 36.4k gems, right? Let me actually pull up a calculator. All right, pull up a calculator so it's easier to visualize. So say you saved up 36.4k gems, and if you did not get a single copy of that featured unit, then you will guaranteed get 1 copy at the end of this 36.4k gems, and that's again around a month and a half to 2 months worth of waiting, collecting gems, right? However, if you don't have to go all the way to scout points, right? If you get the feature unit in, I don't know, 12k gems, right? Say you get the unit in 12k gems, that means you saved up 24.4k, which then for your next unit, you don't have to wait that long, right? You only need to wait like a week or 2 weeks before you could get back to 36.4k, which then you could go in again, right? And once you're back to 36.4k gems, and then you go back in another banner and say like, okay, this time you weren't as lucky. It took you 20k gems to get the unit that you wanted. Then you still have 16.4k left, right? That you save up for another month, then you're back at 36.4k, right? And if this time you're not lucky, it took you all the way 36.4k gems to the end, then okay, then you'll have to save up from the ground up again. But usually when you don't when you don't have to go to the scout points to get the unit, that means you just saved like a bunch of more gems. That makes it so that the next cycle of gems that you're saving is much decreased, right? So it's not always, oh, you have to wait 2.5 or 2 months or 1.5 months to do a pull. No, it's not that. Again, if you get lucky on those and you get it before that, then you don't have to wait that long for the next pull. But like I mentioned before, you have to wait till you have 36.4k gems, because that's just the safety, right? If you spend, like, if you say if you're going in with the thought that, oh, you know what, I'm gonna be lucky, I'm gonna get this in, say 20k, and you dump all your 20k gems in there. If you did not get the unit, that's 20k gems gone, right? So obviously, again, if you could get it, if you saved up 36.4k and then you went and you got all the you spent your 20k, then you got it, and then that's still fine. But the 36.4k is there just in case you don't get it in 20k or whatever, right? So you go all the way so you don't waste your gems, right? So your sunken cost is not wasted, right? So that's why, again, like I mentioned before, gotta save up till 36.4k so you don't get shafted. In terms of what banners to summon on, right? Usually there's 4 different debut scouts, right? In terms of them coming out for the first time, there's the Poke Fairs, you got the Master Fairs, you got the regular spotlights, and then you got the seasonals, right? Which seasonals are honestly spotlights, but they are slightly different from spotlights because they are limited, right? They only come around like once per year or 2 times per year, I guess, in case of like the holiday ones, because like they reran like a month before a year. So it's almost like once per year. But anyways, so yeah, in terms of which ones to actually be saving your gems for, obviously, in my opinion, like, this is, and this part's more opinionated, right? In my opinion, I do think you should just save for your favorite characters, right? Again, the game isn't overall too hard, right? It's more so, if you get your favorite characters. However, if you don't care that much about it, right? If you're looking at the rates, in my opinion, I do think the best banners to pull on are the Master Fairs, because if you look at the Leon Master Scouts, because first of all, like, again, the sample size we don't have is very little because we've only had like 1 Master Scout ever before. But Leon's very, very powerful, so I would assume a lot of the Master Fair Scouts are going to be very, very powerful units, right? I mean, not all of the, if you look at like Poke Fairs and Spotlight Scouts, it's not always like that, right? I mean, some of the strongest units in the game, like the absolute top tier units in the game, are all like Spotlight Scouts, right? Or Serena, May, Bianco, whatever, right? But like Poke Fairs, usually a lot of them are really, like, some of them not that great anymore, but they're all generally not bad, right? But the Master Scout, I would assume going forward, they'd also be at least very, very powerful units, right? They don't have to be like top tier, but they should still be really, really nice, right? But the reason why you do want to go for these generally is because of the 5-star percentage chance. So these Master Scouts have a 12% 5-star chance. If you compare it to like a Spotlight Scout, right? The Spotlight Scout, in comparison, only have a 7% chance, in comparison to, the 12%, which is a whole 5% higher. It's almost double the chances that you'll get like random 5-stars. Obviously, the chance of getting like each individual one is very, very low, right? These are all Spotlight units, by the way. So if you're looking for like a specific Spotlight unit, like the chance of getting that very specific one is going to be low, but the quantity will be very, very high because, again, you do have a much, much higher percentage on the overall rates, right? With more Spotlight Scouts, these rates will go down even more. But again, the total rate is still the same. And the other thing about like Leon, right? Like, since we are, if we are using the strategy, saving up to 4K gems, right, you won't get shafted on Leon's banner because you will guaranteed get a Leon, right? I mean, you can still call, I didn't get anything good. All I got was a Leon at the end. I guess you could still call that a shaft, but the chance of that happening are very, 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 very low, right? So these are usually the banners that I'd say you want to probably save for, right? And then it would be probably like the poke fairs. Poke fairs, they are 10% rates for 5 stars, which is 3% higher, which is not that much higher than Spotlight Scouts, but that's still higher, right? And then the other interesting one are the seasonal scouts. So the thing about seasonal scouts, right? They're basically, in terms of like rates, they're like Spotlight Scouts, but they're just very rare units, right? So these units only come around like once, again, like I mentioned, once / 1.5 times a year. So they will not, happen too often. Like in comparison, like Poke Fair Scouts, we don't know how often Master Fair Scouts are going to return, but like Poke Fair Scouts, they return relatively, often, a few times a year, right? In comparison to like seasonal scouts, they don't return that often. So if you really, really want, and a lot of these seasonal scouts are incredibly powerful, except for like maybe Acerola is kind of but like outside like Acerola, all of these are like extreme power. Like you got Ice Steven. I guess Jigglypuff is also kind of but like she's still good, right? You got like Ice Steven, Hilbert, Gyarados, Ribombee. Like those are like absolutely just fantastic units, right? So these are probably something that you might want to be saving up for as well, right? And then again, like I mentioned, for the poke fairs with the also limited units and the higher percentages. So overall, right, you will be getting like some solid value off of these too. So in terms of like which ones you should summon for, in my opinion, I don't like the debut scouts, right? Like when the Poke Fair first comes out, I'm not a huge fan of summoning on those. I know like everyone, and that's a psychological thing, right? If something shiny new comes out, everyone wants to get on it right away, right? Which again, it fulfills your emotional needs. But again, I don't really think that's a very logical way to spend, unless again you're a whale, you could do whatever, right? And you have all the units, like then who cares? But I do actually find these reruns much better in terms of value, because even though if you're comparing like say the Gloria one, although this one's a rerun as well, but I'm talking about like the reruns with like split banners, and Gloria, this one's like a 2%. She is a 2% featured. All the 5-star feature rates are all the same, right? And then compared to like the Lance and Singsu Cynthia one, even though each one of them is 1.5%, but that still adds up to 3%. So you have a like 1% higher chance to get one of either Lance or Cynthia, right? Obviously, if you already have like one or the other, like already 3 out of 5, then there's really not much point. Then your like solo ones are better. But if you are missing both of them, if you don't have either of them to 3 out of 5 yet, then this is, again, like I mentioned before, the more valuable banner to go for. In comparison, right? Because then this 2%, that's 3%, right? Like an even better one would be let's see, where was it? These special scouts are also really, really nice. The ones that use free to play gens for like guaranteed one from like a region, depending on the region. Some of the regions are really, really nice. But these are like special occasions. This was like from New Year's, right? Let's see, where was it? If I could find it. This one. This is a really, really, really good one because it features 3 Poke Fairs at a 1.5% rate each, right? So that's a 4.5% rate for feature. That's almost double the chance of getting like a feature from like stuff like this, right? And remember when these first came out, right? When these first came out during, say the when they first came out during like the 2nd anniversary, again, a lot of people are excited about these and want to summon as soon as possible. But if you look at these, in comparison to like that banner that we just saw, like that banner is just so much better. It has 3 of the units and has double the chance of getting them, right? Because there's 2% chance for these, right? 2% chance, 2% chance to get one, and then in comparison, where is it? I can't find it. There's way too many. But yeah, there it is, the triple feature. and this one's like 4.5% chance. That's more than double. That's more than double the chance of getting at least one of these. Obviously, the downside with these is you can't really pick which one, right? But the overall chance of getting at least one of these is just so much higher. So if you skip the initial ones, honestly, and then you waited for this rerun with the triple featured, that, in my opinion, is just such a better value overall, right? Like a lot of these a lot of these rerun banners that come out, like even if you're talking like about like spotlights, right? Actually spotlights are kind of spotlights are weird, right? Because in spotlight's initial run they do give you the coins. However, for their reruns they do give power-ups. So the spotlight scouts reruns or initial releases, kind of depends on you, right? If you need more power-ups, then the reruns are better. If you need more, move coins, then the initial ones are better. Which, in my opinion, move coins are just so much more valuable because that's, if you get a move coin, that's basically a 36 points, 4K like scout points, right? It's basically like 36.4K gems, right? Because you get to like use it on whoever you want. So yeah, stuff like Cynthia Steven, Dole, Poke Fair Scout, like these were really, really nice, right? So yeah, anyways, that's maybe this one, I guess. Just an overall suggestion on again, you don't have to listen if you want to, if you want to spend every single one of your gems on whatever banner that comes out. Like if you really, really just want to do that, I mean, fine. I'm not your mom, right? You don't have to do what I suggest, right? It's just some suggestions in terms of like because a lot of people get sad after they get shafted, but yeah, this is a ironclad way of making sure you do not get shafted, and it's probably the most economical way to spend your gems. Again, especially if you are free to play, you don't have that many resources. You, in my opinion, you kind of have to spend it wisely, right? Where you want to use them on. And which is more fitting, right? So anyways, yeah, that's maybe this one. I guess hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know, guys, think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for some more PoMa's content. Hopefully some of you guys didn't get too mad at this. I know a lot of people don't like this when I point this out because I understand the feeling. Spending gems is really, really nice. People don't like to wait. Patience is it's difficult sometimes. So please don't get mad. Please don't get mad. But I'm just some suggestions. Again, you don't have to follow. But yeah, just my 2 cents on this. So anyways, have fun. Good luck on your polls if you guys are polling, and I'll see you guys in the next one.